I wanted to call these guys Oregon all night. So come back on the stage. We have to do our keynote selfie.
Yes, you do.
So I've got hashtag UBS, hashtag Hey Ellen. And, because you guys are doing a fantastic job tonight, so I want to keep saying from them.
Okay, he's cool. I like him. It's okay, I had the students teach me how to do it.
Yeah, it's on the Twitter. So we only need, how many? 1,999,999 retweets to set a new record. That's doable. Like, look at all the people in this room. I'm sure they all
We can do it.
Thanks.
What am I looking for?
I thought your speech was going to be longer. So, here I am. I don't know a whole lot about Nelson Mandela, so I'll apologize right now. Thanks to Geraldine and Bob for making me look like a fool because I don't have any Nelson Mandela quotes. So. See how we do though without him. I just want to say good evening to the graduates, their families, and the special guests that are here. It's, like everyone else, it's my pleasure to have the opportunity to speak with you this evening. I hope you're having a fantastic time. This is always a highlight and kind of a sad day for me to see people. First of all, that I don't recognize because they have clean clothes on. They're wearing t-shirts or sweats. It's kind of weird. I think everyone in my class named Kaylin had different colored hair at some point in time this week, so you know it's a big thing was happening. So I'd also like to thank the planning committee, and I'm not sure if you've ever been asked to do a speech before, but it really focuses your attention and ruins your week or your weeks leading up to it. And so I did the Linus thing all week. I carried my speech around, and I'd go off to a corner and scribble a few things down, and it really ruined Trade Center for me this week. I don't know, for those of you who are hockey fans, you know what I'm talking about. So you can't enjoy your meal, you can't drink, you just sit there and nervously wait and see what everybody else says and how many people steal your stuff. So I'm recommending doing a keynote if you ever get the opportunity to do this.
I can't find it.
The other part of the invitation today was to share some wisdom. Wow. I don't really consider myself a grown-up, so I'm not sure how much wisdom I actually have. So I had to go and search around and see if I could find some wisdom somewhere. Now I've had the pleasure of speaking at graduation before, so I thought, oh great, I'll just recycle all my old speeches. But my wife's here, and she's heard them all before, and so I've had to go out and try to find something new and innovative and creative for all of you. So what do you do when you're doing something for the first time? New teachers? You go to the curriculum, right? All right. So, it should be pretty easy. What did I find? Nothing on doing an education graduation speech. Nothing. It's not in the curriculum. So what am I going to do? Well, I thought, well, maybe I can recycle some of those old speeches after all, but there were a lot of gaps, and things like Twitter didn't exist or anything like that. So I decided to ask my colleagues, wonderful people that are here, and others that I ran into the hallway with this ashen look in my face, and you can't help me, I'm doing a speech. And so they provided me with some reassurance and some wisdom and some insight into maybe some of the things that I've done and worth sharing to you tonight. So I guess I managed to find a little bit of wisdom for you. And then I thought about, well, how am I going to present it? Because there's lots of options, right? I could, just think of it. It's endless. So I thought, juggling, Cirque du Soleil, and I could do, I'm really not that good of a juggler, and I hurt my knee last week, so I probably just spilled things on the stage, so I did that. A theme, like celebration, I had Cool in the Gang in the background, sequins, bell bottoms, one of my awesome tuxedos. I have a lot of tuxedos, but I thought, no, that's not classy enough. So I will shock you all, and I'm just going to speak tonight. Kind of boring. And I will shock you to another extent in the fact that I am not using PowerPoint. And anyone who's ever taken a class or a PD workshop for me knows that that's pretty crazy, so we'll see what happens. And I don't have any segues. So if I abruptly stop at some point in time while I'm speaking, I'll just move on to the next point. So I apologize to the English teachers there. So tonight's gathering that we mark an important milestone, a chance to celebrate the class of 2014 as they move into the teaching profession. And in addition to that official transition, it means something really different to each and every one of you. Some of you will see tonight as the next step in a continuum as you move into the classroom. Others will say, you know, I don't really want to be a teacher after all, and this will be the highlight and the end of your teaching career. It happens. Some of you are wishing that you could be a student forever. And I would imagine somewhere in that range, that's where you'll find yourself this evening. And whatever your thoughts and whatever your plans are for the future, I want you to recognize the change that's occurred to you during your time at the College of Education. And you may think, I'm the exact same person I was when I started 2 years ago. But that's probably not happened. Endless group work, constant reflection, time in schools, they have changed you. They have made you into a different person. And I think it's really important for you to embrace that change and realize that it's positive. Not only are you more informed, but you're better, and you're more thoughtful, and you're more skilled in so many things that you never thought that you even could be in the past than you are to this day. You'll also be faced with some really difficult decisions. So where do you want to end up? Rural or urban? North or south? Back home? Or maybe somewhere completely new? Caffeine-free or dark roast? I mean, there's some very important decisions that you have in your future. And some of you may be saying, well, I think I'm just going to stick around Saskatoon, spend some time on the sub-list, hope that maybe a job comes open for me. And I think there's a lot to be said for comfort. But I think that there's also a lot to be said for trying something new, something that maybe wasn't part of your original plan when you entered into the college. There's a lot of excitement and fear that may be built into these new opportunities, but there's nothing that makes you feel more alive than to have that chance to try something new, be part of a new community, do something that was really outside of the way that you approach life. And I think that if you discount all those things, you may be missing out on opportunities. Now, when you enter the classroom, and whatever that might be as a full-on teacher, it's really hard to know what to expect. And I've had some people, experts like Cliff, say it's like internship without the safety net. Oh my gosh, all the decisions are suddenly yours. There's no cooperating teacher to run to, no college facilitator to help you out, and there are a lot of surprises. Things that were kept from you when you were interning, things that you didn't have the opportunity to experience are now suddenly a part of your lives. It will not only provide you with the greatest challenge in your teaching career, but it will also provide you with the greatest opportunity. Think about the diversity in your classroom. You're working with EL students, First Nations, shifting curriculum, limited resources, new opportunities that are coming to you each and every day. And that's part of the excitement that will be your initial foray into teaching. And people say, well, that's just life in the real world. I guess if they're old, they talk like that. But I never really liked the term real world, because real world is where you are. And I like the concept of the different world. We all live in the real world, and when you're in the classroom for the first time as a teacher, that will be your opportunity to see what things are like, as someone says, that's in the real world. Now, when you begin, I want you to enjoy and embrace that opportunity to teach, but I don't want you to overdo it. Don't jump into the deep end right away. Save some of that energy to protect yourself, because it's going to be a long haul. You all know what it was like during internship. You got back in January, and suddenly you could relax a little bit. You realize when you've been through. But your teaching career will be that all the time. Be involved, but not to such a degree that it knocks you out. Find a balance. Find things that are really important to you, things that fill your glass as opposed to empty your glass. Also look for opportunities that you can do now and in the future. Have fun, and keep those around you having fun. You guys having fun? I'm having fun. This is great. Your students can't learn if you're one of these kind of, sprinchy-faced teachers with your arms closed, right? So make sure that there's some humor, some laughter, some enjoyment of what happens. You get up before you go into the classroom, look in the mirror and smile once. So at least you'll have one smile on your face during the day, and if everything else goes wrong, at least you have that. So there's been some joy and some happiness in your life. And know that the days get better when sometimes they don't feel like you've made the wrong decision. The other thing is, don't get hung up on content. I spent a lot of my, especially at the university early years, worrying about covering all the content. Oh my gosh, I missed the content. And when you're in the classroom, I know there's stuff that you have to do, but don't do it at the expense of the people you work with. If you look after your students, if you look after other students, your colleagues, life, your teaching life, and just life in general is going to be much better. People are important, and that's the business that we're in right now. It's okay to look for help as well. And we are all very confident, well-informed individuals, and sometimes we feel we should be able to do everything on our own. But I tell you, as a beginning teacher, you won't be able to do everything on your own. Find support, find a mentor, find someone that you can go to and ask for help. And I know in my own teaching, and again at the university, I have had such wonderful mentors. Some of them are here today that I can go to, I can ask for advice, and I don't feel silly or anything like that. They help me out, and they allow me to improve my practice in a safe and caring way, and I think that's really important. I do have in here, it says, research says, because I have to have that researchy thing, because Bob pulled out some crazy quotes and research there. So, but there is research that proves that if you have a mentor, you're going to be more successful. So search those things out as soon as you get going. Was there any wagering on how long that was supposed to be? It's pretty short, actually. I'm cruising along here. All right. Here's some more advice. Collect a rainy day or I just had the crappiest lesson of my life file. And again, those are the days you begin to doubt yourself. And I have a file that I keep handy for those dark days because they happen. And what do I put into it? I put in thank you cards. I print off emails from students. I have all kinds of documents that have special meaning, ticket stubs, programs, artifacts from things that I've done related to teaching that are successful. And so when you're having one of those days, and any of you who have been teachers or have interned, you know what they're like, and you think, oh, I did all this planning, and I thought this was going to work, and it didn't show up, and oh, what's going on? I should be working on the rigs or selling real estate. When I have those days, I go to the file and I open it up and I go, oh yeah, I remember that. I can actually do that. Very important to have that. Keep those things down. I also encourage you to keep lists of your students. Now, like most of you, you probably won't start your teaching career at university like I did. But when you're in elementary school, you'll have pictures, you'll have class pictures, you'll have other things. But I have a list. And what that list is, or that folder, is every single student I ever taught. And it's well over 1,000, I think it's like 12 or 1,300. I have a piece of paper with a handwritten, this is my name, this is my hometown, this is something interesting about me, and I've kept those for every single student that I've ever taught. And again, when I'm having those days or I'm not sure what's going on, I go through that list and I'm reminded of the wonderful people that I've had the opportunity to work with, like you folks in the room. And so in a few years, I'll go through and go, oh, I remember that time. Who cheers for the Washington Capitals, really? I don't know. Like, why would I do that? But again, it's a reminder that what you're doing is a good thing and you're working with good people. And if you just tuck those pieces of paper away and little reminders, it can be very important, especially in those early years when you're teaching. The next part is for the parents and the grandparents and the aunts and uncles and the special guests here. So I've done this part in speeches before, and I think it's the most important part, so I keep it in here. And it's kind of like when I was a kid, I'd go to Sunday school, and they'd gather me up the front, gather around, kids. All I can do is old guy impressions tonight, I'm not sure. But I know for some of you, it's really hard to be at an event like this because you have the connection of your family member or your child or whoever who is graduating this evening, but sometimes you feel like a bit of an outsider, and the people come up here and go, remember that time, Delta, Gamma, and you're like, what are they talking about? But I want to remind you that we're not here if it's not for you folks. You are the reason that we're gathered here tonight. And we're in on your little secret. We know how wonderful your kids are. You don't have to be bashful or shy here. We know. We recognize that your kids are fantastic because we work with them and we watch them. They share with us the same way they share their excitement with you. They run into our classroom and go, "Guess what? I just got an interview with Saskatchewan Public. Oh my God!" They do. They sound like Kermit, just like I did at the end. And it's wonderful for us to see them grow and change the way you have seen them grow and change as a result of being in the College of Education. And this is all because of the influence that you have had on them. Think about it. Someone you helped make their way in the world will now be sharing the traits that they admire in you with others. So when they go into a classroom, what they will be doing is they'll be looking at those very powerful influences that you've had on them, and they will share with hundreds and hundreds of students. It's part of the legacy, part of the impact that you've had on them. And when I think about it, it's just fantastic. So I want you to celebrate and kind of revel in the fact that you two are very important people in the celebration that we have this evening. Oh, I get all emotional when I do that. I'm sorry. Get it together. All right. Now for the graduates, and some of the toasts talked about this already, I want to remind you to thank those people that helped you along the way, parents, relatives, friends, others who contributed to your success. Don't feel silly. Guys, give your dad a hug. All right? Bro hug or whatever, but you know. Say, yeah, that was great that you brought me real food. I'm glad to see that it showed up in one of the other speeches. Or thanks for paying my phone bill, because I had no money. You don't have to tell them you spent it all on beer and stuff like that. But they care about you, and make sure that you thank them for that caring that they did. Graduates, I want you to stop and enjoy the last few moments of your university life as well. You know, in our world, everyone's rushing. We seem to be so busy. But what I'm asking you to do is, this is your homework. We talked about having homework. I want you to soak up a bit of the university before you leave. I want you to go to your favorite place on campus. And I just want you to close your eyes for a while, listen to the sounds, get a sense of what it's like to be there. Try to feel the movement around you. You know, take a deep breath, unless you're by the hog barns. But I want you to feel the power of where you are. And for me, this has been a very important thing that I do when I'm in a place where I'm not sure I'm going to be at again. And I think of places that I have been, you know, sitting on the Vimy Ridge Memorial, for example, or driving the dog sled in the Wildcat Hills, or in the delivery room when my children were born. I just wanted to capture a piece of that. And I would ask you to try to fit that into your busy lives, because pretty soon you'll be done. You'll be firing out resumes and getting snapped up by all these smart directors of education and working in classrooms. And you may never return to the U of S. This might be your swan song, your defining moment, and I want you to have that lasting memory that you would take with you. We're almost done, those of you who need a drink. I had the opportunity to spend some time with one of the directors today. We were talking about how important resources are in Saskatchewan. Because we're blessed with many natural resources. We've got oil and potash and wheat and all those other things that we dig up and chop down. But we have teachers as well. And I think teachers are just as important as all these other resources. But more importantly, teachers give back. They're not finite. They're not necessarily sent away to be made better. They're pretty good when they leave our college, if not great when they leave our college. And they support Saskatchewan in ways those other resources cannot. And think about it. Now you're a teacher. You become an educator. You are now accepted into a worldwide profession. And you can go just about anywhere in the world and be welcomed with open arms. Are you a teacher? Oh, well, come on in. Think about it. Every school will allow you to come in as long as you let them know that you're a teacher. They'll say, oh, do you want to see what we're doing here? Do you want to check out our resource room? Do you want to spend time? It's a fantastic opportunity for you anywhere you go around the world. And we think about when countries are times of trouble or rebuilding, what's the most important thing they focus on? Education. You are now part of that global phenomenon. And even when countries have, say, a blackboard and a half a piece of chalk, the most important thing they do when they're rebuilding is to educate their children and to teach. And now you're a part of that. Now, feelings towards the College of Education have been mixed over time. And some people take us for granted. And this could not be further from the truth. This college takes only the best. And if you look around the room, you see athletes, artists, tradespeople, scientists, musicians, all highly intelligent people with interpersonal skills that really aren't matched in any other college on campus. And we succeed for the most part on our own. The college gets no money from big business, yet we are involved in the biggest business in the world. Sure, we still learn how to make bulletin boards and papier-mâché animals, and we talk about lining up to go to the gym, but you do so much more. You discuss human rights, how to benefit special needs children, why Aboriginal knowledge is so important in Saskatchewan. You volunteer to help EAL students serve lunches, coach teams, work in before and after school programs. The list is endless. And you do this all very humbly. You don't yell and scream for attention. You go about your business in the most professional manner possible, because you know inside that you make a difference. When my daughter was little, she used to wish me goodbye and good luck whenever I left the house. She'd say, "Hey, good luck." So tonight I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to share this evening with you. I want to wish all of you good luck. Thank you.